listening to The Still Small Voice. I'm Jennifer, your host, the Still Small Voice Whisperer. Thank you for joining me today. I am hoping this podcast gets you thinking, intuiting, listening, and maybe even acting on your still small voice. My first guest for this season, which I'm so excited about, is AnnMarie McKenzie. I happened to come across AnnMarie many years ago. It feels like decades. I think it's only been 5 or 6 in Danielle Laporte's Desire Map / Heart Center Facilitator group. And I remember following her then, and then this year I was able to connect with her, and I'm just so excited to talk to her and learn more about her and what she does in the world. This conversation is still running through my head weeks after we recorded it. And in full disclosure, this is the second conversation we had. The first one we had lots of technical difficulties, so we just scrapped it and said we'll try again later. So some of the stuff when I am talking about, when I do my kind of recollection and going through it, I might bring some of that stuff that I truly remember from that first conversation. So very excited to have her and to have her talk with me and to share it with you and to just dig into all the goodness that AnnMarie has to share. So let me introduce her. AnnMarie is a soulful business strategist who empowers solopreneurs to align with their purpose, amplify their power, and activate their prosperity. Certified Advanced Numerology Queen, speaker, spiritual teacher, and heart-centered leader, she weaves the magical into the practical to elevate consciousness. AnnMarie is on a mission to support psychic sensitives, creatives, and healers to integrate the intelligence of their hearts, reclaim their energetic sovereignty, and become the inner authority of a handcrafted life and business they love. She is the creator of the Conscious Business Immersion and Collective, Spirit of Your Business VIP Activation Days, the Soulful Planner, and Attracting Your Soulmate Client workshops. You can find out more about her offerings or book numerology readings at AnnMarieMcKenzie.com. Be sure to follow her on Instagram or in her Conscious Business Leaders Facebook group. And also, do not miss out on the free gifts that she has in the show notes. Now, I'm going to admit, I was kind of fangirling during this interview, so just bear with me.
I'm just so glad to see you today. Just so glad we could connect today. So I wanted to start by asking, since I've been paying more attention and following more of what you do, and it seems like you do a lot with numerology and with coaching people, would you explain kind of what it is you do and how you do it and why your people rave so much about you? Because it's so exciting to see. So
thank you. Well, I'm a soulful business strategist. And what I mean by that is I empower spiritual entrepreneurs to really align with their purpose. Everybody that comes into our world, we all want to know, what's my purpose? And we all want to access the gifts that we were born with and gift those to the world. And the last piece that's super important is to activate divine prosperity. It's so important for us as spiritual entrepreneurs to shift that mindset that we are meant to make money and be wealthy because of this. And the reason behind it is because the more we have, the more we can give.
Okay. Yeah, which is very contrary to, I think, the way we're trained is money and spirit are separate. And I can imagine there's that fight to kind of bring them back. Maybe fight's not the right word, but more that we're unlearning to relearn is the kind of how I'm hearing that, of how you're trying to guide people to do it kind of exactly that, to work with what they've been given in their gifts. And okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we met through emotional intelligence and heart intelligence and really looking at heart conscious leadership.
Right.
And that was a part of my world for a very long time. And what I noticed is that there was still a disconnect in some sense with the work that I was guiding people through, that even though they were coming to the conclusion of how it is that they wanted to feel and how they wanted their clients to feel and their family and their friends and their community, and these were the values they wanted to embody, that there wasn't this ultimate knowing. There was still some work to be done in terms of the belief that, yeah, this is who you are and these are the gifts that you have. And so, and that was true for me as well.
Okay.
I'm no different than anybody else. I still have self-doubt. I still had struggle with perfectionism. I still had hesitation and fear and worry and anxiety sometimes with the things that I was creating and putting out there to the world. We are taught in the spiritual world to not seek outside validation, but we're human.
Right.
We're human. But like, can somebody tell me that I'm doing a good job? Can somebody tell me that this resonates? Like, are you getting it? Do you like it? It's human. It's human to want that feedback, right?
Right. Yeah, the human, it's that human part. Again, that same split we're used to. This is the human part and the spiritual part. And you kind of, I think of it all the time. I want to spiritually bypass the human, but man, I do want to tell somebody, like, just tell me you read it. Even tell me you don't like it, or just tell me that it's stupid. Just something.
Yeah. Something, please. Yeah.
Please. Right. I can totally understand that.
Yeah. So numerology came into my world in a really roundabout way. It wasn't direct at all. I wasn't looking for something like that. I had declared to another coach. This was 2020, so my business shifted drastically. I was hanging out with people in workshops and retreats and connecting with clients one-to-one, and I had to do what many of us had to do and shift into this online space.
Right.
And I had said to her that it was my time to declare abundance, and I was going to figure this out, and I was going to do it in a way that not only created sustainability, but that created a massive amount of abundance for collaborative wealth, that I was going to call in so much that was going to give me this greater capacity to give. But I approached it very masculine, which is the exact opposite of what I coach other people to do.
Oh, right.
Like, how very Aries of me. I was like, I'm going to hire a new bookkeeper. I'm going to get a new account. I'm going to have money dates. And I look back and laugh, but I was serious at that time. I was like, this is what it's going to take.
Right.
I need to look at my report. And thankfully, a really dear friend, Amanda, who's a fellow coach, Amanda Connell, she said, why don't you go to this free series that's being hosted by Megan Alton. She's a teacher of mine, and I think you'll really resonate with her. It's free, so the price point was amazing. And I hopped into this community, and it was all about numbers and building a relationship with numbers and understanding the language of numbers. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't what I expected to create a relationship with my abundance, but there's something that's speaking to me. There's so much truth in this. And it wasn't like I was learning it, it was remembering.
Oh.
It was very different. Whereas emotional intelligence for me, for decades and decades, since I was a little girl, I was told to stuff those feelings.
Right.
Oh. We don't want to see that. Like, unless it's happy or joy, like we don't want to see that from family, from friends, from society, from the world.
Yeah.
And so that was a very different journey than numbers. And when, again, numbers came into my world, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. There was something different about it. There was a truth to it. And not that there wasn't truth to emotional intelligence, or not that there wasn't those aha moments. There absolutely was, but it was a longer road, I guess you could say, with emotional intelligence and heart intelligence versus numerology. And I do believe part of it is because of all of the work that I did in the realm of emotional and heart intelligence, because numbers have a vibration and a frequency just like emotions do, and they are connected.
So
they are connected.
It's connected. Yeah. It's connecting it. That is fascinating that you're like, I'm going to knock this money thing out, and then I'm going to go to this free course that then I remember that I knew something about numbers I didn't know. Like, I got chills when you mentioned like that I'm in this numerology course. I'm like, yeah, that's usually how it works. Like that's
right.
That's usually how it works. So if I'm gonna do this thing and I'm gonna go out hard, and then what's really gonna happen is something's gonna pop in that really doesn't make any sense, but is gonna make it all make sense. So I was chills, getting fascinated by that. So now you do the numerology and kind of the heart. So you've blended them. So you've blended them.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. It's what I noticed is that, and you've experienced this before too, where we dive into that work of understanding how it is that we want to feel. And again, it's this long process of soul inquiry, accessing sometimes multiple modalities, like doing different types of therapies, different meditations, different journaling. And it took quite some time when I learned numerology, I was able to collapse timelines with my clients because I could get to the heart of the matter, pun intended, where knowing your birth date and understanding this cosmic, divine, energetic blueprint that you are gifted when your soul chose to have a contract in this lifetime on that particular date, I can access the intelligence of your heart. I know how it is that you want to feel. I know what values you are here to align with and that you are here to embody and share with your community. And so it doesn't mean that there isn't work involved or that I encourage people to just like, you don't have to do the work, just listen to me, I'll tell you. But that again, the opportunity is like what I experienced when I share that information, people recognize it. It's familiar. There's a truth behind it. And they kind of lean in and go, yeah, you're right. Community and connection is one of my top values. Like, how did you know that about me? So there's numerology gifts us this mirror of who it is that we are. That's why we're here. We're here to remember. It's like the cosmic joke, right? Like God puts us on the universe, like here on Earth. We're like here in Earth school. It's like now you're gonna forget everything that you know, and your whole life is this healing back of remembering. And so numerology holds up that mirror for us to go, oh, right, that's who I chose to be in this lifetime. These are the spiritual assignments I chose. This is what I'm here to learn. This is what I am here to express as a fraction of oneness, as a part of oneness. This is what I'm here to experience. And it's really cool. And so that mirror is held up for people. And again, there's still work to be done because, okay, yes, I remember that unity is very important to me, for example, but how do I live a life and create a business that's an embodiment of, say, unity, for example, or abundance or freedom? So there's still that work to be done, but it's validating. It confirms for us, I'm on the right path, right? This is my purpose.
And being seen, like we talked about earlier, like getting something back from the universe. Imagine getting this back from the universe. This isn't just a human saying, hey, yes, no, maybe. Like this is God, and that's the way I phrase it. God, universe, saying, yeah, like this is you. This is yes, right path, wrong path. I'm guiding you this way. That's very exciting. I'd rather God tell me what to do than other people. So that's wonderful. So great. I was going to say, you mentioned. I gave you my birthday. We'll see. We decided you were gracious enough to suggest this idea, and I was like, this would be a perfect example. So I gave you my birthday, and I say whatever you are comfortable kind of sharing what you do, how you do it, ever is most comfortable for you, just so people have an idea of it. But already I was already fascinated prior, and I feel like I get to just have fun and learn more about all these other things. It's kind of a great gig. It's kind of a great gig to have. So whatever you feel.
It's my absolute favorite thing to do. So I do like to share with everybody that I work with a spiritual support team. I have a connection to God, source, all that is, we all do. I'm psychic. I have psychic abilities. And so I tap into all of that as well. So there's the blueprint that the reading comes from, but there's often additional information. So I know your listeners can't really necessarily see me, but sometimes I like lean in because my team kind of gives me a push, like tell her that, or I'll start like, usually I'm looking like up and to my right when they're being like sassy or sarcastic, and they're like, tell her. So it's really interesting to see what comes through. So I have the basic outline of who it is that you are on your birthday, based on your birthday. So can I share with everybody what your birthday is? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah. I have no problem with that. Yep.
So we're working with 4/22/1982. So the month is 4, the date of birth is 22, and the year is 1982. So the first thing we do is look at something called the ruling number. There are different types of numerology. Many people know this as the life path number. This is the biggest energy that we carry in our code. This is like the first aspect of our essence that's important for us to know. And we figure that out by adding up all the numbers in your birthday as individuals. And then we reduce it down to a number. Now, the ruling number, we work with the numbers 2 to 11. Every other aspect of numerology is 1 to 9. The reason for this is, and I know that you'll respect and probably agree with this, our true essence is already an expression of oneness and divine. And so we are not given the number 1 as our ruling number. So that's why we're working with 211.
That makes sense. Yes. Yes. We are not. We are not.
Yeah.
We are a part of, but we are not. Yes. That totally makes sense.
And any other aspect of your code is ultimately working with 1 to 9 and then some master numbers. 11 is a master number, 22, 33, for example. So when we add up all of the digits of your number, your ruling number is 10. So 10 is that 1 energy, and the 0 amplifies the 1 energy. So when you think of the number 1, what immediately comes through for you?
Well, you just told me that that's not the number we use. So now I'm like, You know, to me, it just feels very strong. I don't know why, but that strong is what's coming through. Just very strong, very like, even if you were to build a dam, that dam's coming down. Because it doesn't matter who you have building it, what you have building it. It's like that much strength. Like, doesn't matter what you do. That's what's coming through for 1. Inevitable.
Exactly. The 10 is similar to the 1 in the sense it forges new path.
Oh, lovely.
It loves new beginnings. It loves change.
I do love cleaning. I mean, that sounds crazy, but there's nothing better for me than like, let's redo the room and get rid of half of what I own. Yeah. I love change. So that makes sense.
And 10 also encompasses the energy of 5, and 5 is the change maker as well. It's very heart centered. So 10 is the double 5 energy. Oh. So whenever I see 10 in somebody's energetic code, I'm like, you like to do things different. You like change. You're like, I don't know about this job. You're comfortable with changing jobs. You're comfortable with moving. You're comfortable with starting new relationships. You're comfortable with trying new things. You're also the problem solver.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a mixed bag. So it's a mixed bag. So people want me to come solve the problem, but they also don't want me to tell them, like, you have to do it differently. Like, this is how to solve it. Like, it's funny that you should say, like, I have no problem doing that. A lot of my professional and personal reviews have been like, you're doing things differently. You're doing things weird. I'm like, yeah, but I'm getting it done. And they're like, yeah, but I need you to do it a different way. And I'm like, why? It's done. It's better. And they're like, it doesn't matter. Right. Which so again, I've walked my way out of all those positions. Funny you should say that.
And that's because you're comfortable with change, but they're not. That's why they're asking you to do it the old school way. And you're like, but I found a better way.
It's quicker. It's faster. You don't actually have to do it. Why are you trying to do more work? That's what I'm always like. Right? Why do you want to do more work? I'm trying to let you be free. Yeah, so interesting I hadn't. Yeah.
So as a 10, you'll tolerate that for so long, but then you're like, bye.
Yeah, bye. And as I get older, the less tolerant I am, the more I'm like, we're done. Goodbye.
Yeah. And it's because one of your top values is joy. You're a seeker of joy. If it's not fun and if it's not bringing you joy, then it causes a lot of disruption in your life. It ripples into your relationships. It spills out everywhere. And then you have this contemplation of like wiping the slate clean. Not only would you want to change that one thing, but then you'll contemplate changing everything.
Oh yeah, I'm well known with my friends. If I do one thing, I'm burning it all down and starting again. Like they're just like, okay, she's in that mode. Like just let her go, and we'll see where she comes out on the end. Yeah, they make fun of me for that in a good way. Like they know now. First couple times they were like, what is she doing? Now they're like, oh, she's in that mood. Okay, let me know when you're back out. Yeah, everything changes. Yeah, I can't change one thing without changing the other. It doesn't like, no, My brain can't fathom. And people who do that, I'm like, I'm fascinated. I'm like, how do you really? Like, that's it? That's all you want to do? Okay, cool.
Why not at all?
Right? No, why not? Let's just so interesting. Okay. So see, they love me, but again, I always thought I was kind of crazy, and I'm okay with that at the same time, but knowing that it's having God tell me, yeah, this is how I made you. It's okay. This is why you're here. That's a different feeling than otherwise.
What's really important for you is to surround yourself with people who accept you as a change maker, who accept you as somebody who can forge a new path, who are literally saying, please come into our world because we want to do things different. We want to find ways that are more efficient. We want to find ways that are more heart-centered. We are willing to go through the change, but we don't know how. Can you lead us?
Yes, that would be my dream world. That would be my dream world. I mean, that's what I've unofficially done. And because people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, I go into places and I fix things and then I leave. I'm like, that's what I do. I go in and I fix things and I make them easier and then I disappear. And then, like, you know, but one does not market oneself. just professionally, when I was doing it professionally, they're like, you're not in businesses. Why are you in nonprofits and for-profits in this industry? I'm like, what does it matter? It's all the same.
It is.
It's all the same. But for those who are very like, this is this industry, this is the way we do things, it was a little harder. So yeah, you're right. You're very true. Nothing you're saying is wrong, and it's kind of baffling how accurate it is. Not kind
I'm glad it's resonating.
It's very, very much resonating. I can think of numerous fights about these traits that I've gotten in with various people over the years.
I love having 10 energy on my team. I have a VA who has 10 energy. That's by design. When I change things because I'm growing, I'm scaling, I want somebody that is excited about that journey with me, that's not going to resist the change, that is interested in figuring out the nitty-gritty details to do that thing because they're so excited for the change. Now, why we work so well is we have shared aligned values, and also because I know that she's a seeker of joy. So I've had to learn how to let go of the reins in certain aspects of my business to allow her to make those decisions and to make those changes based on what's going to bring her joy. So she'll present me with 2 options and she'll say, which one do you prefer? And I'll respond back with, this is something that you're going to be doing on a regular basis. So what do you prefer? What's going to bring you more joy? And she'll often come back with, well, what do you think your clients will want? And, you know, she'll unpack all of it and I won't say anything. I won't text her back. I won't voice message her back. And then like 30 minutes, an hour later, she'll say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm like, all right, I'm on board with that. She's like, are you sure? And now she doesn't second guess it anymore. Like we've had to practice that because it's uncommon. It's uncommon to have leadership like that. And it's uncommon to be able to have such autonomy in a role, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's a craving, because it's like I can do, but I think just again the model, we're so used to feedback. What does the person want? We've got to have our markers. We've got to hit the whatever. And just thinking of listening to you talk about her, like I'm totally the same way. Let me go dig and get all the information that nobody wants. Nobody wants it. I want it. Nobody wants it. I'm going to get it all. I'm going to present, but lots of people are not comfortable with, let me send you off. And then you'll come back with the thing they want, like, well, what did you research? What did you do? And then, so I can understand her coming back of like, these are the options and this is why. And you're like, nope, just you pick. That is very loving to her. Just, I would dream that. That's my dream person to work with. Just let me go do my thing. And I'll come back and we'll make magic happen together. I promise. I'm always like, just let me do it. I promise it'll be better. But if people don't want, people don't want. And I've learned to step away. So much appreciation.
Like for example, I wanted to sell my Soulful Planner online. Like I wanted this printed book to show up on people's doorsteps. And even though I'm not aligned with Amazon's values, I wanted the path of least resistance. So I just wanted to play in that world and see what new connections I could make from that. I had no idea what to do. And I said, do you think I could sell this book on Amazon? And she's like, absolutely. She's one of my biggest fans. She's like, absolutely. And you should do it. And I'm like, okay, do you want to help me with that? And within like 2 days, She's done all this research. All the links are there. This is what you should watch. This is what I figured out. I've opened up a board in Trello and I've started this step-by-step checklist of what we need to do when our book is done and we're finished editing it in order to put it on Amazon to sell it. I'm like, cool. So now anytime I want to sell a book on Amazon, I have every single step that's necessary and I can grasp the timeline of it as well.
Yeah. She's after my own heart, SOPs. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and then it's the funniest thing. I nerd out about not corporate, but I nerd out about that organizational piece. Like, if I get hit by a bus, I want you to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not here for you to rely on me. I'm here to show you how to do it. And then when I do get hit by a bus, and or if I move on, like, I want you. So her putting the checklist again, that just makes me have all the feels.
And now when clients come into my world and they start sharing their knowledge and wisdom, I'm like, have you ever considered putting this into a book? They're like, no, I wouldn't even know what to do. Well, I'm resourceful. I know people that can help with the editing and publishing pieces. And I already have the step-by-step process. Like, you could take this ebook that you've already created or this workbook. And they're like, I wouldn't know how to do that. And I'm like, I have the checklist. I will give that to you. You're my client. I love you.
Right.
Yeah. It's great.
So that's awesome. That's so awesome. Again, I'm getting all the nerdy, I'm getting all the organizational, logistical feels.
So I do feel that, and I would encourage you to do this. I encourage her to do this as well, my VA, that when she is pitching herself for other contracts and other jobs, I'm like, sell yourself as that, because it's a commodity. There are organizations that need the person that comes in and makes the changes, because change is so hard for people, especially when you're working with teams that are supposed to be extremely collaborative. To get them all on the same page, they end up sitting in that storming phase of the levels of group dynamics for far too long. And it costs money, it costs time, it costs heartache. And so having somebody come in and say, hey, I'm going to be the leader of that, is a phenomenal trait to have that many organizations could definitely benefit from.
Yeah, I think of how much time and how many relationships are hurt and lost in trying to change, just because bogging down in something that is usually not relevant and not any, just why friends will ask me to go not burn stuff down, but they're like, can you go be the bad guy? I'm happy to go be the bad guy.
Love it.
Well, because I know it's at the end, the larger picture at the end. I know it's going to be messy in the meantime, but it's just mess. It will clean up, and everybody, and at the end, everybody's like, I'm so glad you did that. I'm like, I know. But literally they'll call me, I need you to call this person and do this. Yes, do that. I will do that. And I enjoy it. I know other people don't do. Other people do not enjoy being like, hey, let's burn this down. So
yes.
So,
now, one aspect to be mindful of the 10 in your energetic code, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. If it doesn't bring you joy, say no. Yeah,
no kidding. Right? Because it feels, a lot of times I'm like, I know this is a gift, so I should. Should is not the right word. I want to be of service, right? We want to be, we're here to do the thing, to do whatever it is we've been asked for. So I'm like, if this is my thing, I should be doing it. But there's a tendency of, I should do it all. And I should be first.
Your shouldness comes from a place in your energetic code. You were born on the 22nd. That's a master number. The 22nd, 22, also equals 4. The master number 22 represents the master builder. You love community. You love connections. You love collaboration. You love partnerships. So yes, you go in and foster change, but you want it to be, and you've already spoken to this, you want it to be something that is embraced. You want it to be something that other people can feel really good about as well. And so you do take everybody into consideration, even though you might be, this is efficient, the different way, this is what you asked me to do. There is this high level. Am I on the right path?
Oh, you're very much on the right path, because sometimes they're like, why are you considering this? I was like, we have to consider this. You can't just ignore this person. This person has like this person, I'm like, do you not know what this person does? Like, and then a lot of times I'm like, yeah, they have no idea what this person does. Like, ooh, like this is bad. This is yeah. I can, every situation has always had one of those things. They're like, well, why are you going slow? Or they want me to go faster. I'm like, nope, we can't do it this way. We can't ignore certain things. Everything has to be considered. Yeah. Some people also don't like that. They do just want me to go in and be the bad guy and just.
But you're building systems in your life. I know this relates to your job because I somewhat know what your job is, but ultimately in your code, you love systems. You love organization. You love structure.
Yes.
You love leading people through it.
Because then it helps, for me, the structure then gives me the freedom to play, to then go after that joy. If I have the structures in place and I don't have to think about all that stuff, sweet. Then I can really, like you said, the joy, then I can access the joy. But if I'm worried about laundry, even like basic things, laundry gets done at a certain day at a certain time, just, it makes me happy. It gives me joy, which people are like, can you come clean my house? No, I don't want to clean your stuff. My stuff makes me happy. My stuff makes me happy. My systems make me happy. They may not make you happy. Again, like you said, it's got to be to each person. Just because I like doing it, my other half hates the way I do it. We had a discussion about why we do laundry differently this morning. And I was like, this is why. It's not logical. It's not rational, but it makes me happy. But that's how like kind of absurd, not absurd, but how extreme it is. Like, there's a reason to do this. It's because it makes me happy. I have no reason to change it.
Your code understands, and many people don't get this. We seek freedom. So many people seek freedom. It's one of their core values or ways that they want to feel. There's a misconception, though, that freedom means I can do whatever I want whenever I want. And I can just go with the flow and just like listen to my intuition and just decide what I feel like that day. Which that is, those pockets of time, those moments are incredible. In order to have that on a consistent basis, commitment and structure need to be in place.
Yes.
It's the combo of the masculine and the feminine.
Yes. The support systems are the structure. So then when I do have that time, my brain is not losing its mind about XYZ. Then I can, like you said, then you have that freedom. When you want it, you can have it if the structures are in place. But like you said, the go with the flow, whatever that does, there's no structure there. Yeah, totally. My heart is singing. Yes. Because
it's like
that's exactly the case. Yes.
If you don't, it's like a river with no riverbanks.
Right.
It's disastrous.
Right.
It's chaotic. It's destructive.
Right.
That's the feminine without the masculine.
Right. So having that structure, and it feels like I've inadvertently fallen into it, not by any conscious thought. I mean, I've tried to unwire it for years and then I gave up, which I can't clearly, because then when I was finally
it's who you are,
it's who I am, and then it's like, we're just going with it. Yes, I'm quirky. Yes, this is the way I am. But it also gives me great freedom. People are like, how do you have so much freedom? And I'm like, because what you don't see are the 3 hours every morning that I do the things, or the evening, or yes, this is why I'm going home early, so I can, or I'm opting out of this or that. And that becomes kind of, again, I think of everybody, if I can be there, I want to be there. But like, why I have freedom now is because of all the systems that y'all really don't like me doing on a regular basis. But that's how it works. But like you mentioned, the river is very much, that's kind of a great way of thinking about it, is that having that structure. Yeah.
The spiritual assignment of the 4.
Yeah.
As it relates to those systems and those structures, is learning how to delegate and ask for the help that you need, because it's not all on you. The 4 will feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. They will get stressed and overwhelmed and frustrated and burnt out. And when that happens, it's because you're not asking for somebody to take something off of your plate, thinking that you have to do it all.
Nobody can see my faces that I made when you said that.
You're like, she's calling me out.
She is calling me. Yeah, she is calling me out hard. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh, delegation. Ooh, that's hard.
So see what I mean? How
Yeah.
I've collapsed so many timelines in terms of like, okay, what should I be working on? What's the next thing in order for me to really embrace who it is that I am and what it is that I'm here to do and the gift that I'm here to share? We've only been talking about this for maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. And already
I gave you gold.
I need to, right. Already I'm like, I need to learn how to delegate, which I already kind of knew.
Yeah.
I really
But I validated it.
You super validated it, and you definitely called me on it because, yeah, that popped up on me last night. Or actually, I got at, what do you need me to do? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to answer this question. And then I figured something out, so I did it. I was like, good job, me. and it happened, and it was great. And I'm like, wow, all I asked was for one little thing, and that feels so much better. But it was hard. It was hard to delegate. It was, but I did it. But I know I need to do that because the weight of the world is on shoulders. Yeah, I feel like I have to do the things, and I can't step away. So I have to work on that.
Yeah. So there's a lot more in terms of just that 10-4, for example, that I could have shared. So at the beginning, I mentioned I work with a spiritual support team. I'm psychic. I'm intuitive. So I just leaned into your code and what it is that our team was saying, this is what she needs to hear today.
Okay.
So the 4, for example, also I could have touched on, you're very connected to the material world. It's important for you to ground. You need to be physical on a regular basis. Our team was like, don't focus on that. She needs to hear about delegation.
Yeah. I mean, I know the grounding part, that I've got lots of pieces in my life already for that. So interesting, because that's already kind of solid, and I'm more conscious of that. Yeah, the delegation part. Yeah.
So numerology has amplified my own psychic gifts and my own intuition to work with other people. And you have that as well. The 22, you actually have 3 2s in your birthday. So there's
I do. Yeah. Okay.
Amplification of intuition and psychic abilities within your chart as well. It's through the roof. And my best guess would be that clairsentient is one of your top psychic gifts. Like, not only do you feel big, but you can feel what other people are feeling as well. You can sense what other people are feeling. And if you can't, it's because it's so big that you've turned it off, because it's very difficult to manage. It's difficult to navigate not only feeling your big feelings, but then feeling other people's feelings. And sometimes it's like, I can't, it's just too much. So you just turn it off.
Yes. Yeah. So I walk around either totally walled, or I let it down and it is over. Yeah. Yep. It is overwhelming. Yeah. That's why going out, I mean, this is going to sound crazy. That's why I don't like to go out. Like, I'm not trying to be a hermit. Like, I tell people, like, I'm really trying very hard to come hang out and be a social person. Like, I'm trying. I just, especially if we try to go to places where lots of people are, I'm like, oh yeah, no, overloaded. We're done. Go, bye. Yeah. Have a good time. Yeah. Can I pay you $20 not to go? Like, most events, I'm like, well, because it'll be for some donation or something. I'm like, $100 to not have to table captain. Cool.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be in a ballroom with 800 people. That sounds like hell on earth.
So I can relate 100%. Okay. A couple of things that have supported me in this is, again, coming back to the compass of your heart. How is it that you want to feel? What values do you want to embody? And then connecting those with that activity and with those people. Is this activity going to make me feel, how does it I want to feel? Is it going to allow me to share those feelings with other people? And is this going to be an expression of my values? So an example for me would be shopping. If I don't need something, I'm like, I'm not going. I don't want to go. Like, going to a mall is the definition of my worst day. It doesn't excite me unless I'm going there for something specific and a purpose. And so learning how to say no to those things in kind, loving, caring, compassionate ways, so you can say yes to the things that are aligned. And secondly, because we don't always have that luxury of saying no. I mean, the world is changing. We can get our groceries delivered, but we do have to go into public spaces every once in a while. And it's learning to protect your energy. So just understanding that we have this like magnificent auric field that extends at least 30 feet, at least. I've done so much work in this, and I know that mine goes way farther than 30 feet. And it's also why I suffered for a very long time from things like depression. But yet I didn't feel like it was my own. I remember saying that to my therapist. I'm like, I'm depressed, but it doesn't fit me. Like, it feels like I'm wearing the wrong jacket. I'm like, I don't know how else to explain this. And now that I understand energy, I'm like, oh, it's because I'm hanging out with other depressed people and I'm picking up the energy of depressed people and I'm keeping it in my auric field, and I'm not cleaning and clearing out that debris.
Yes.
So stop going into public places with 30 feet radius of auric field, which means you can feel at least 60 feet. You have this like massive radius of all of these people around you, and you're picking up on what they're thinking and what they're feeling, and it becomes energetically overwhelming. So learn how to tuck your energy in. And this was hilarious. When I first learned this, I was working with horses and somebody who's like an equine therapist. So horses have a heart that's 5 times bigger than us. So their heart intelligence is 5 times bigger than us, and that emotional field. So they can teach us all about energy. They pick up on our energy and they can share messages with us. It was absolutely incredible. So she showed me with dowsing rods how big I can send my energy and also my energetic layers. And through that work and the horses, I learned to tuck it in. But then when I put it into practice in public, I was like stiff as a board. Like, I'd show up in the grocery store and I'm like, my hands are by my side. I'm like walking around like a robot. My partner's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm tucking my energy in. And he said, I'm pretty sure it's like snowboarding, like loosey goosey, like you don't have to be so tight, like bend your knees, like just relax. You don't, I'm like physically like thinking I'm holding it in, but it's this an awareness, a simple awareness of considering yourself in this big bubble and then calling that bubble in. So it's just a couple inches around our body.
Okay. That's something it's funny. It's something I've been reading about and looking at. And I'm like, how does one do this? This sounds like this could save my life. I mean, quite honestly, because there are times where I am resourced, or maybe I'm inadvertently tucking in where I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying people. This is crazy. Not crazy, but I'm like, this is great. This is how normal people feel. Like, I'm like, is this how you all really get along in the world? Versus, fascinating.
So it's the boundaries is so important for us as intuitives, as highly sensitive people, as empaths, because, and we don't do this very well because we are told that being selfish is negative. But there's aspects of selfishness that are important. And it's okay, because we are here to be of service to others. We're not being selfish to be of service to self. We are being selfish so that way we can give more. So I'm tucking my energy in when I go into public because I want to be on fire in this podcast. I want to be a full-bodied expression of who it is that I am. I want to be able to connect with your heart. And if I've been hanging out in lower vibrations and with people that I'm picking up, again, that energetic debris, I can't do that. And so in those moments, I'm like, no, it's okay for me to be selfish. It's okay to say no to this experience, or it's okay for me to tuck that energy in and not give it away to other people. I call all of my power back to me, mine, and I decide who gets it.
Yes. Thank you. That's an exact, okay. I need to like take that clip and I need to like play it to people. And I'm like, I'm going away now. This is why, because you just said it exactly as I've always thought. I'm like, no, I have to do this so then I can like show up and be who I'm called to be for the things that I'm called to be. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And like you said, it's only full minutes. it's only been a couple minutes. We've just started talking, so I won't.
This is the tip of the iceberg. There's just so many layers. Like, we didn't even touch on an energetic grid. Like, we have a tic-tac-toe grid that our numbers get placed into, and there's arrows of influence, or there's numbers that are absent, or there's numbers that are isolated. And so all of that is also an example of your expression. There's the personal year that you're in, which is your focus for the year. There's a season that you're in, which really relates to your purpose. The cool thing is that I know that you'll really appreciate as a 10, especially, is that we have a purpose, but it changes throughout our life. Because we go through seasons. So many people are like, I want to know what my purpose is. And I said, well, just so you know, your purpose 10 years ago is going to be different than what your purpose is right here and now. And anybody who's a mother will agree with that. They're like, when I had my children, my purpose back then versus now that they're gone and they're grown and they're living their old lives, I have a different purpose. And that's one of their challenges, is figuring out that different purpose. So the seasons will help us understand that. We have a sun card, which is the work that we chose to do here in this lifetime. We have a moon card, which shows us how we are meant to take care of ourselves. We have a soulmate client card. There's so much. There's so much. I just absolutely, I love it all. I love it all.
I was going to say, I mean, the more I've just watched what you do, and then having this afternoon with you, like, just, oh my gosh, it's just so rich and full of support, validation, and full of love. So much love with all of that. Like, I just am like, okay. Like, I felt myself calming down as we're talking. I was like, oh, it's all good. It's all like, it really is. Everything is well. Everything is well. This is just awesome. I'm glad. Thank you so much for chatting with me this afternoon. I just
You're very welcome.
Appreciate you hopping on. So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, or to reach out to you to work, or anything that you want to share so they can reach you?
My website is AnnMarieMcKenzie.com. I own all the domains of my misspelled name, so hopefully it will take you right to my website.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I'm smart like that.
Very smart. All right.
I don't do one-to-one readings all the time. I have very specific pockets of time within my calendar in a year. So when those open up, I encourage people to hop on. A really easy, affordable way to understand numerology is with my Soulful Planner. So it is an energetic management system for spiritual entrepreneurs. So there's conscious business planning elements, but it really helps us understand the energy of the universe and the collective. So there's day energy, there is month energy, there is year energy. We're in a universal 8 energy year. There's an invitation for us to reclaim the power of infinite abundance. And so to get that basic understanding, working with the Soulful Planner is a really great way to start. I'll share this with you for you to share with your audience. There's a 2024 energy forecast and predictions for life and business that I created. So it's a free video replay. There's also an ebook that they can access, and it really helps you tap into, okay, I'm not going bonkers, but this is what everybody's feeling, and this is what's coming through for us this year. And so we can, honestly, the intention behind it is, when we understand the energy, we can align with the energy. We are all here. Our main purpose, all of us, is to transmute energy, period. And to raise the vibration, not to criticize or judge or say that it's bad when we're in a lower vibration. It just is what it is. But we are here to learn how to transmute that energy. And so when we understand that collective energy as well as our own personal energetic code, then we can learn how to transmute that energy by understanding it and aligning with it. So those are some really great ways to start working with me, working with numerology, and that are a really affordable price point. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'll make sure I get all of that in the show notes. Thank you. Thanks so much again. I really, really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
I want to thank AnnMarie McKenzie for being so patient and for rolling with everything that happened as we tried to record this and work together. She's also been so wonderful helping in post-production. So next week, I'm going to talk about this interview and what it has meant for me to hear it, what it has meant and how I have looked at other things in my life. Because not only does AnnMarie weave what I consider the logical, numerical stuff in with the heart-centered and the listening to the still small voice. I mean, she lives it, that's what she does. But it really has taken my understanding of it to a whole nother level. So we're going to discuss that next week. We'll see you then.